welcome to Capital TV Online News. My name is Olive Barrows, and these are the stories making headlines. Energy Cabinet Secretary Davis Chirchir appeared before the Ethics and Anti-Corruption Commission on Friday morning to be questioned over the chicken scandal.
If there is evidence, present evidence, because when somebody could be name dropping and saying, ukiniangalia namna hii, I know Chirchir, I know so-and-so, I know so-and-so, and I can help you, that's a question of really confirming, and this is what I'm talking to, as to whether there is evidence, and that evidence can be provided to confirm whether this chicken was collected for Chirchir, and whether it was indeed handed over to Chirchir, is not something that is difficult to establish. It shouldn't be difficult.
Also at the commission was former Kenya National Examinations Council CEO Paul Wasanga. The unfolding multi-million shilling election material and exam paper tender scandal has already seen 2 people jailed in the United Kingdom. The Southwark Crown Court jailed 2 officials of the Smith & Usman printing firm found guilty of bribing officials of the now defunct Interim Independent Electoral Commission. Nicholas Smith and his father Christopher will serve about 3 years in jail for their involvement in the corruption scandal involving top managers of the then IIEC. Chirchir previously served at the electoral body, the predecessor to the current Independent Electoral and Boundaries Commission. IEBC Chairman Isaac Hassan recorded a statement with the EACC on Thursday, where he insisted on his innocence. At the end of the grilling session at the Integrity Center, Hassan told reporters that he was confident of being vindicated. Hassan had been summoned to shed light on the scam in which officials of the defunct IIEC are accused of having received bribes codenamed chicken during the procurement of electoral material. And in East African Community Affairs, President Uhuru Kenyatta was on Friday expected to hand over the chairmanship of the East African Community to Tanzania's President Jakaya Kikwete at the 16th Ordinary Summit. President Paul Kagame of Rwanda on Thursday described President Uhuru Kenyatta as visionary, saying his leadership has re-energized the community. Kagame, who was in the country for the commissioning of the oil carrier geothermal plant, will join President Uhuru Kenyatta, Kikwete, Pierre Nkurunziza of Burundi, and Yoweri Kaguta Museveni of Uganda at the summit, which is being held at the Kenyatta International Convention Center. The heads of state are also meant to deliberate on the inclusion of South Sudan into the community. The much-awaited High Court ruling on whether sections of the new security law are unconstitutional has been deferred to Monday. This is after presiding Judge Isaac Lenaola explained on Friday that the 5-judge bench needed the weekend to fine-tune it. The appeals court in January declined to lift a High Court order suspending 8 clauses of the law under contention. The Coalition for Reforms and Democracy and the Kenya National Commission on Human Rights moved to the High Court challenging the constitutionality of the security law, which President Uhuru Kenyatta signed into law in December. This was despite opposition from various civil society groups and court, who put up a fight as it went for its 3rd reading in Parliament. When signing the law, President Uhuru Kenyatta, however, insisted that it was necessary in the fight against terrorism. And now for the business news, Kenyan stockbrokers have reversed a decision to stop trading at the NSE after holding a meeting with the Capital Markets Authority on Thursday evening. The brokers had vowed to halt trading for 1 month, starting February 20th until March 18th, until the court ruled on the issue of capital gains tax implementation. The council had last month gone to court to challenge the implementation of the tax by the KRA, claiming that it would lead to double taxation. They had also expressed fears that they could be faced with huge debts due to confusion on how they were meant to remit the taxes. But after the closed-door meeting with CMA, the stockbrokers now say they're ready for further consultations and that trading will continue as usual. And this is how the Kenyan shilling is trading against the US dollar, the sterling pound, and the euro. And on the international front, authorities of the Italian island of Lampedusa struggle to cope with the huge influx of newly arrived immigrants, as aid organizations warned the Libya crisis means thousands more could be on their way. Officials on the tiny island south of Sicily were trying to process more than 1,200 exhausted, often traumatized and ill Africans in a reception center designed for less than a third of that number. Around 200 of them were children, some 100 women. All of them were part of a group of 3,800 would-be immigrants to Europe who have been rescued in the Mediterranean since Friday. At least 330 people are thought to have perished while trying to cross from Libya to Italy in the last week. 29 of them from exposure after being rescued too late by the Italian Coast Guard in near-freezing conditions. Federico Fossi of the UN High Commission for Refugees said the reception facilities were simply inadequate.
This overpopulation has created a number of problems because we can't guarantee the required assistance to those who arrive: dry clothes, food, water, phone cards, and psychological support.
And in sports, Jenzebe Dibaba demolished the 5,000-meter indoor record in Stockholm on Thursday night at the penultimate IAAF indoor permit meeting of the winter. Despite having pacemaking help for only the first 2 kilometers in the 5,000-meter race, Dibaba was still capable of running the third world indoor record of her career when she clocked 14 minutes, 18.86 seconds for 25 laps in an indoor track. She took more than 5 seconds off the previous mark of 14 minutes, 24.37 seconds set by her compatriot Messeret Defar on the same track in 2009. Liverpool captain Steven Gerrard has accused Mario Balotelli of being disrespectful. This was after the controversial Italian striker snatched penalty-taking duties away from Jordan Henderson during Thursday's 1-0 Europa League win over Besiktas. Gerrard was angry that Balotelli overruled Henderson when the stand-in Reds keeper tried to take an 85th minute penalty in the last 32 of the first leg at Anfield. For these and other stories, please visit www.capitalfm.co.ke/TV. My name is Olive Barrows. Thank you for watching.